Hey there, I am Gary Parrish. Welcome back, CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball Podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, leaky black. Matt Norlander is here with me. If you're watching on YouTube, be Braden Davies. Smash that like button. If you haven't yet subscribed to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball Podcast, please go ahead and do that wherever you subscribe to podcasts like Apple and Spotify. Let's get into it. I want to start in the Hawkeye State, where Iowa State met Thursday night in a game between power conference programs that entered with a combined record of 18-1. Fun matchup. Final score, Iowa State 66, Iowa 62. The Cyclones, they were coming off a historically awesome performance at number one Purdue. They trailed by as many as 13 points in this one, but rallied to outscore Iowa 41-29 in the second half. They won the game by 4. So Iowa State now 10-0, just like Duke, and Iowa drops to 8-2. But the losses are to the teams that are ranked 4th and 9th in the top 25 and 1. That is Michigan State and Iowa State. Norlander, good to see you on a Friday morning. What'd you make of Iowa State staying undefeated with a victory over their in-state rival?
Wonderful game, and this is about as good as you can ask for record-wise, other than literally both teams being undefeated at the time of the game, which I'm not sure that we've ever had, maybe once before between these two programs. And for whatever reason, however the calendar usually breaks down, this game is typically the only game of note the night it is played almost every single season. I think they build it kind of a little bit around the final schedule, but my brain's telling me that in recent seasons, for sure, when these two square up for their only meeting in, what do they call it, the Cy-Hawk, the Cy-Hawk series, which Iowa State apparently won in wrestling, volleyball, men's and women's basketball. There might have been another sport in there. This year they had swept all of them for the first time, so I know Cyclones fans listening and watching are extremely happy about what transpired there. But it was cool to see Iowa get competitive, and not just competitive, up 13 in the first half with 3 minutes to go. And then our colleague, Chris Hassel, who rumor has it might be from Iowa, I'm not sure. He cursed the Hawkeyes the rest of the way because he called Ben McCollum the coach of the year. Next thing you know, Iowa State had a 19-0 run, half over half. And then actually to start the second half, first 8.5 minutes, 22-4, outscored the Hawkeyes. And Iowa State won despite not shooting as well from the field as Iowa. It won in part because it was able to get to the line for 23 free throws. Iowa only had 3. I have to shout out Killian Torrey, who I thought did a really nice job on Bennett Sturts, who had 10 points, 4 assists. Joshua Jefferson, obviously, is the stud of the game. He had 24 points, game high at that, and continues to be just a rising star in college basketball. And with him alongside a healthy Lipsy had, 14 last night. Momcilovic didn't even have a ton, but they've just got so much good stuff going on there right now, GP. A really fun game. Came down to the closing possessions, which was good to see. And Iowa, you lose, you blow a big lead. You had it in Hilton, but at least, a top 3 team in the country didn't run you out of the gym in the first season under your new coach. So you got to be at least inspired by that, even though blowing the big lead is not exactly the most inspiring thing. Iowa State, by the way, GP, 10-0 now. That's just the 4th time in the history of the program. The Clones have gotten off to a 10-0 start, but it is the 2nd time under Otzelberger.
Joshua Jefferson, you mentioned 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He is number 2 now in the KPOY. I'm picking up on it like you taught me. Player of the year standings. He's number 2. I don't think most people didn't have Cameron Boozer as the National Player of the Year in the preseason, but everybody assumed it was possible. I don't think anybody assumed Joshua Jefferson as a first-team All-American was a thing we were going to be talking about. Did people even think he'd be the best player on his own team?
No, he's going in, obviously considered the best NBA prospect on the Cyclones, but Lipsy considered the most valuable player, being the floor general and being a veteran that he is. But at this point, yeah, you probably got the stats queued up, but I'll throw it right back to you. 18.2 per game, points-wise, 6.5 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting well from the field. He's been really, really good, and for as valuable as Lipsy is, Jefferson really is the guy that has taken Iowa State to the top tier in the sport. and can keep them there. That was only reinforced last night with what they did against the Hawkeyes.
And it reminds me a little bit of that Gonzaga team that won Maui the year I was there. I believe it was 2018, 2019, where coming into the season, everybody was like, Gonzaga is going to be really good, and Gonzaga's best player is Rui Hachimura. And throughout the first week of the season, or first month of the season, it became clear that, yeah, Rui's great, but the best player at Gonzaga in that particular year, that was Brandon Clark. And so we just had it all wrong. And it's looking like that might also be the case at Iowa State. I don't know if Hassel is right that Ben is going to be coach of the year. It's year one, and he's dealing with some other monsters in that league. But he's obviously very good. I mentioned the record, 2 losses, but both to teams that are ranked in the top 10 of my top 25 and 1. I started thinking about this last night. Name a state where you would take 2 coaches over the state of Iowa right now. I don't mean to catch you off the top of your head, but I mean, I can give you some possibilities. Michigan, you've got Tom Izzo, Dusty May, and don't forget Greg Campy. In the state of Texas, you've got Kelvin Sampson, Scott Drew, Grant McCaslin, Sean Miller.
Yeah, strong.
In Kentucky, I know UK fans don't want to hear this right now, but I'll still throw Pat Kelsey, Mark Pope into the ring. In California, you got Mick Cronin, Eric Musselman, Randy Bennett. But the state of Iowa's got 2 pretty good, more than that, but the 2 at the power conference level are operating. They look like, if you could keep these guys in these jobs for a decade, you'd feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Give some love to Ben Jacobson.
That's where I'd stop myself.
He's done a good job. And then Eric Henderson, Drake's not world beaters right now, but he's been a pretty good proven coach. What we might have is the classic best coaches per capita situation going on in Iowa. The old pound for pound analogy might be at play there. But yes, a really, really quality game. I want to get the exact Hassel tweet here. Hold on. It was just ridiculous because he sent this out. And yeah, here it is. Call it now. Ben McCollum, coach of the year, and every year from here on out. That was sent at 8:46. I think Iowa was up at 13 at that point. They subsequently just pissed away the lead after that. So just too funny. Our buddy Hassel, who does a wonderful, tremendous job hosting on CBS Sports HQ. Let's go bigger picture on the Big 12 GP, because with Iowa State winning this game and avoiding taking its first L, it maintains its standing in the sport. And I think you've about come over to my side on this by believing, although if you didn't, I'm interested to hear your case. The Big 12 is the best league in college basketball right now. Not guaranteed to be that for the rest of the season, but with what it's done in non-conference play, to me, it has earned that title. It is not sitting there at KenPom right now. The SEC still is, but that is still predictive metrics. I do think we'll probably have a turn in that by the time we get to Christmas. But Iowa State undefeated, Arizona undefeated, Oklahoma State, by the way, undefeated, in addition to the likes of Houston, which has 1 loss, BYU, which has 1 loss. Now Kansas has a healthy Darren Peterson. We'll get to the Jayhawks in the Final 4-1. Texas Tech, we'll get to them in the Final 4-1. Baylor still looks solid. Even UCF at 8-1 is off to its best start ever under Johnny Dawkins. I don't know if it's going to be a tournament team. I don't know if Colorado is going to be a tournament team, but these teams are not losing a lot of non-conference games. Colorado off to an 8-1 start. Even Arizona State off to an 8-2 start. So while there have been disappointments, like West Virginia's just been okay, Cincinnati hasn't been as good as you'd think. Kansas State, really, what the hell's going on there? And Utah is, as expected, not that good. Big 12 overall is pretty damn strong. Your thoughts on the league, and where do you have, just for a refresher for our viewers and listeners, where do you have ISU? You have Zona 1. I think everyone realized that. But where's ISU? Where's Houston? Where's BYU? Where's Tech in your top 25 and 1 as of Friday morning?
I did flip it. I did move Michigan to number 1 at some point.
Really? Did you really?
I just think at some point you've got to stop. I'm trying, as I age, I'm trying to be less rigid in my thinking. And this is not something I would have done 5 years ago. I would have just said the team I've got number 1 has a 0 in the loss column. Until that changes, they're going to be number 1. And if anybody wants to subscribe to that way of thinking, it's fine with me. It's easily defensible. But, I mean, Michigan's just beating everybody's brains out. They're number 1 in every computer that I look at. At some point, I felt like you just got to – Honestly, it was a quote from Dusty May. I'm sitting there reading the recap from the most recent blowout, and he's like, "These guys deserve to be ranked number one." And I'm like, you know what? He's right.
What if Arizona win? We're going to get to this in the Final Four. What if Arizona wins in Alabama against Alabama, and Tommy Lloyd says these guys deserve to stay number one? Then what are you going to do? You're going to find yourself in a pretty damn tight spot.
I read something on Instagram, I think, and it said like 90% of the things you worry about never actually happen. So stop worrying about them until you have to deal with it. So that's where I'm at right now.
And if you can really just dive into that, that means that Parrish gives Arizona a 10% chance at winning against Alabama this Saturday. We'll get more into that on the Final Four.
The way my life goes, I'm expecting Arizona to win by 70 in Birmingham on this weekend, at which point I'm sitting here going, now what? Now what am I supposed to do? But I decided to respect Dusty's credentials, all the numbers, and his spoken words. He said his players deserve to be number one, and I was like, I'll fight with Norlander, but I don't want to fight with Dusty May. So fine, Michigan's number one.
You sound like someone who would be just awful on the stand under cross-examination. All it took was to read one sentence that Dusty May said that you read in some sort of story, and suddenly your entire worldview just flipped like that.
Well, I mean, shouldn't Dusty May be able to change your entire worldview? Like, I'm sitting here right now. I think it's safe to assume Dusty May's worldview is probably better than mine.
I mean, I would think that's the case, and frankly, I would hope it's the case. And he might need to start running the entire Michigan athletic department at the pace they're going there. So maybe a lot more attention on what Dusty May does. Okay.
What is going on at Michigan? That's crazy, crazy.
Especially crazy when you juxtapose it with just how dominant and amazing and incredible the Michigan basketball program is, and just how well respected everyone on that staff is. And then you look at everything else, it's just. Woo! But anyway, I was trying to guide us down the road of the Big 12. You have Michigan number one. Where is everyone else at this point? And are you with me? Big 12, best league in America.
I don't know that you've ever been friends with somebody who's obviously smarter than you, but I feel like I feel like
I do this podcast with you, so obviously the answer is yes.
I've known Dusty for a long time. I feel like his worldview is probably better than mine. So when he says, hey, listen, I don't rank basketball teams every morning, but I'm telling you, I know basketball teams, and this one deserves to be number one. I was like, fine, whatever. Michigan's number one. So the Wolverines will stay there. Arizona's probably going to win by 1,000 points this weekend. I've got Arizona at 2, Iowa State at 4, BYU at 6. So to your point, 3 of my top 6 in the top 25 and 1 are from the Big 12. Number 14, Kansas. Number 15, Houston. Number 17, Texas Tech. I still think the Big 10 is probably deeper in the sense that on Selection Sunday, it might have more teams in the tournament than any other league. But who has the most national championship contenders right now? You might be able to say that it's the Big 12. Sure, I wouldn't argue with you about that. I wouldn't argue if Dusty May said that. I wouldn't argue with him either.
I think it's more than it might. I think it is. I think at this point, with what we've seen from all these teams, I think that is very much the case. And yeah, good start here for the Big 12. You got anything else, or do you want to stick in the Midwest and talk about another undefeated team?
Who called it first about how difficult it was to walk into Pinnacle Bank?
I believe that was you.
We're talking about Nebraska next. First, give me a word from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
Finals score: Nebraska 90, Wisconsin 60. That's a 30-point win. Here's what I wrote Thursday morning in the top 25 and 1. Out of 365 Division I men's basketball teams, only 2 went to bed Wednesday night with a 10-0 record. One of them was a Duke program that has won 126 games in the NCAA tournament. And the byproduct of that is 5 national championships. The other is Nebraska, the only Power Conference school in the sport that has never won a game in the NCAA tournament. Historically, these teams come from very different places, but they have the same record right now. Here's what I'm asking you. Is this the year? Is this the season that Nebraska finally removes that burden from its shoulders?
All that time, all that existence. Nebraska basketball. What year did it start, GP?
What year did Nebraska?
What was the first season in Nebraska Cornhuskers men's basketball history?
1911.
1896. 1896. Woo! It's a long time. Now, the tournament's only existed since 39. So,
Sister Jean was a freshman.
There we go. And in all that time, Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game. Super thick chunks of broken life and reality. Nebraska, is this the season? You know what? I'm gonna tap out. It's too early for me to say.
No, you have to say.
It's too early to sort the data. It's not. I'm sorting data on the daily at this point. I want to believe, but I don't know. Nebraska's 10-0 right now to tie its best start in school history. It did this once before. It didn't win an NCAA tournament game. 77-78, if you're curious, is the other time they started 10-0. Also won 14 games in a row. Not only is that the longest streak in the country, the win on Wednesday night also tied for the longest win streak in the history of the program. They did that in 90-91. I'm seeing a lot of signs that indicate that this very much can end, but I'm not going to sit here on December 12th and tell you, Gary Parrish, that it will end. I do believe that you believe that 2026 will mark the end of the streak, though. They're going to win a tournament game. You're on board, right?
Of course I'm on board. I want to believe that.
Yeah. If we actually attached stakes to it, would you still be on board? Anyone can just say it. Like, it doesn't, you can just say it. But
I attach stakes.
Attach some sort of stakes. Would you then continue with your belief there?
Do you know the type of things I have attached stakes to in my life?
If you had to wager an entire paycheck of yours on Nebraska winning an NCAA tournament game in 2026, would you do so?
Bro, I have spent much of my life gambling on the Mets. What do you think? Are you kidding? Yes, I'll believe in Nebraska. I believe in the Mets. You don't think I'll believe in Nebraska?
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just trying to get a little more information out of you. That's all.
Your stakes. I don't care. I bet on the Mets every day during the summer.
Well, sounds like a serious personality flaw.
I just want so badly for them to be good.
And now lose Alonso. Isn't he an Oriole now?
Everybody, Brandon Nimmo, Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso. They don't
happen. Don't you have the richest owner in the entire sport?
That's what I thought. What I'm starting to find out is it doesn't matter how much money you have if people don't want to take it.
It's very hard to do when you have all of the money and you find people that don't want to take all of the money. Very hard. Only the Mets.
It's tough, man. But yes, I believe in Nebraska. I have spent my whole life believing in the Mets. It's not hard to believe in Nebraska. It doesn't take me much to get there. All right. So absolutely, I believe in Nebraska. Plus, in all seriousness, jokes aside, we're done with the Mets. I know how much it means to Fred. Like, I've talked to him about this. They made the NCAA tournament a couple years ago, came to Memphis, and like they were the majority of the crowd. Like, they traveled. That fan base, like in Las Vegas, I know we don't care about the crown, but like they did win that, and they took fans there. That fan base cares about everything. They care about football. They care about everything. Volleyball. I think every time I turn on a volleyball game, it's Nebraska, and the thing is sold out. So they care deeply, and so yes, I would like that for them. I do think they're good enough to do it. Like just basketball stuff, they get Rick Mass back, and he's been terrific so far. He missed all of last season with a knee injury. He's now averaging 18 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.1 assists in 28 minutes per game. Like, he's been excellent. I think they can get this done. Yes, I'm going to predict on December 12th, whether you're comfortable with it or not, I'm predicting Nebraska wins a game. Its first ever game in the NCAA tournament. It happens in March 2026.
I hope you're right. I would love to see that. Nebraska fans deserve this unquestionably. A couple more notes on the game here, big picture stuff on the Cornhuskers. Wisconsin hadn't held to 16 a game this season, and Wisconsin's outlook is very foggy still, even almost 6 weeks into the year. But whatever, they're certainly a solid team. John Blackwell was 1 of 11 from the field and held to 7 points. That's a Wisconsin team that before they played Nebraska was averaging 88 a game. Like, really, really impressive stuff there. Winning by 30 was Nebraska's largest MOV in a win since 34 against Rutgers in 2016. Very, very impressive there. They'd also never won against Wisconsin by as many as 30, period. Jamarcus Lawrence, we'll get to Mass in just a second, but he had 7 assists. He's been a really key player as well. And we are seeing, real signs of a very real top 25 level team that is gearing up for its biggest game of the season. They have to play at Illinois. And that game, because we're talking about Nebraska here, that game is not in the top 25 and top 25 one, the Final Four and 1. But what a terrific game on a very good Saturday, and we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. To go on the road and to face a really talented Illinois team. It is a house money situation for Nebraska. Yes, it is trying to extend the longest win streak in the sport. Yes, it is trying to set a program record by starting a season 11-0. Yes, it is trying to set a program record by winning a 15th consecutive game. If it doesn't do that, no one's gonna shirk at Nebraska whatsoever. Fred Hoiberg has done just a really, really good job for a team that I think going in was expected to land somewhere in the, I think we're being fair and honest, Nebraska was expected to be somewhere in the 10 to 16 range in the Big Ten this season. And it's outplayed that to this point. It looks like one of the, it's undefeated. So record wise, it's one of the very best. But if you remove even that, let me bring up the Big Ten.
Sort something.
I'm sorting it right now. Well, if you wanted to actually sort, you want to straight up sort in real time. Folks, not anyone can do this, okay? If you want to straight up just in real time right now, Nebraska this season, in terms of overall efficiency, is 25th in the country. And in wins above bubble, resume-wise, Nebraska's 11th best in the country. So it's looking like a top 5 team in the Big Ten overall. Super impressive stuff. Very interested to see what it can do in a real competitive, tough environment league game against the Illini on Saturday. Tremendous spot for an Illinois team that's coming off a couple of high major wins. Tennessee, Ohio State, now gets Nebraska in its house. Illinois is going to be favored in that game. But nevertheless, good stuff. Good games for Nebraska. We appreciate it. And if anyone listening isn't familiar with the lyric I dropped, Mo, M-O-E, Nebraska. Tremendous song. Just love it. Love me some Mo. Love me some Nebraska. Give it a spin after the pod.
They're also Nebraska, not the song or the album, but the basketball team, made in a way that I think it's easy to overlook in the preseason. In other words, like I said, they get ring-masked back. We don't usually talk too much about so-and-so missed all of last season, but now he's coming back. What will that look like? But they've got one of those. And then Jamarcus Lawrence is a what do we call it? A boomerang transfer. Mm-hmm. Like he was at Nebraska for some good stuff, went to Rhode Island, then bounces back to Nebraska, and now he's playing a role on an undefeated basketball team. So, we'll see where it lands, but so far so good. That's a team that at the very least looks like it's in position to maybe get the best seed it's ever received in the NCAA tournament. That, by the way, is a 6 seed. Never anything better than a 6 seed at Nebraska in the NCAA tournament. Can you do better than that? And if you do, by definition, you're in position to advance in the NCAA tournament because you'll be the better seeded team in the bracket. Let's move on. Okay. Final 4 and 1, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going to do that next, but first, let's get one more word from our partners.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. So even if you can't count on accurate expiration dates,
that is a rookie mistake.
Or people appreciating your fashion sense.
Jim, the crowd is not on board here.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Glad we wear our good jerseys.
Yeah. It's time for the Final 4 and 1, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Josh,
hold on. Do we want to do this? I mean, do we want to do this again?
This is the only thing I've been looking forward to all week. What are you talking about? Do I want to do it? I've been looking forward to this moment all week long. Josh, if you don't mind, turn your mic on, and in the best voice you got, however you interpret that, update us on our records and tell me how good I am at this.
I fear that I can't do that this week.
Thank
GP.
God.
I'm sorry. 1-4 last week. for Parrish. Norlander 2-3. GP has done. He's 14-11 on the season. Norlander 13-12. We're close.
Okay.
But GP is either awesome or he's bad. He started 1-4 week 1, then went like 9-1 over the next 2 weeks, and now 1-4 again last week. It's a roller coaster with GP in the Final Four.
That's my life. That's like that's my life. That's life with me. It's a roller coaster. I have good weeks. I have bad weeks.
I'm sorry, I can't do nearly as much for you this week.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that and much more.
I was looking forward.
That's non-sensual approach to the Final Four and 1. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I guess I'll have to look for affection elsewhere.
Where possibly could you find that?
I don't know. I really don't know at this point.
Game 1?
Game 1, Saturday, noon Eastern. Number 17, Arkansas versus number 16, Texas Tech, inside the J.R. Ewing Center.
Dallas?
You don't know Dallas. Are you too young for Dallas?
You know what? This is GP and I are like 9 years apart. This is one of those instances where, the Dallas stuff that's just a little bit before my time. So I know of this show, but not in my wheelhouse at all.
It didn't feel appropriate to go with like JFK or Lee Harvey Oswald or anything like that. So I just went J.R. Ewing, a television show. You can watch it on ESPN2. KenPom has it Texas Tech -1.
This is a game.
It is a game. Good
those raised on the Southwest Conference.
Oh.
How about that? I was not raised on the Southwest Conference. Arkansas and Texas Tech were both former members there. They have met 81 times in their history. How about this? Texas Tech, 41-40 all-time edge because Tech beat Arkansas in that great and dramatic Sweet 16 game last season in the tournament. In fact, the 2 most recent times these teams have played have come on the big dance stage. Arkansas defeated Texas Tech in the second round of the 2021 bubble tournament. So they split the past 2. Keep an eye on Carter Knox in this one. He leads Arkansas in 3-point accuracy. He's only taken 22, but he's made 11 of them. I'd like to see him get a little more opportunities from beyond the arc there, see if they can set him up. Darius Acuff has been a really good distributor, generally speaking, for the season, but in the past 2 games, he's had 18 assists so far over the past 2 games. He's second in the country among freshmen in dimes per game and 7th in scoring, 17.4 points per game for Acuff. Arkansas has had some good showings as of late, which is good to see. Texas Tech also coming off a thrashing against LSU on Sunday, 82-58. They're 7-2. Are the Red Raiders. JT Toppin, probably a first-team All-American right now, which is not a surprise given he was a preseason first-team All-American, but we haven't talked a ton about him. His numbers right now are better than they were a season ago, 20.8 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game, shooting 52.5% from the field. Yet another really good weekend with some really nice matchups. Another great ranked-on-ranked level game here. I will go Arkansas to narrowly win this. Should be a really good game with a really good crowd. And if Hogs fans really get out there and travel, like it could be close to a 50-50 split down there and in J.R. Ewing country.
I was thinking the same thing. Often we get these neutral site games between good teams, and it's like either the buildings half filled. I mean, it is like on Thanksgiving, we had this amazing non-league matchup between Arkansas and Duke that did historically great numbers on television, but it was played in Chicago and the building was not full.
Mm-hmm.
And often when we do neutral site stuff, that's the case. Or it's like predominantly one school over the other, and that just will not be I would assume that's not going to be the case here.
Right.
I would assume this building is full and there's, 8,000, 9,000 Arkansas fans, 8,000, 9,000 Texas Tech fans. These are 2 programs that I don't know that it resonates nationally the way Duke fans resonate or Kentucky fans resonate or Kansas fans resonate, but they have fan bases that care deeply about these basketball programs. And so I expect that'll be a a terrific scene. Arkansas, we had talked about them on previous pods, sort of throughout the first whatever games of the season. They just sort of did what they were supposed to do. They beat all the bad teams and they lost to the ones that were better than them. But then they knocked out Louisville earlier this month, and I've got them higher right now in the top 25-1 than Texas Tech. So that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I'll lean that way. I'll take the Razorbacks. I'll take the Razorbacks not only to cover the number, obviously, but to win the game. Game 2, Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. Memphis at number 11, Louisville, inside the Purvis Ellison Center. You can watch it on ESPN. KenPom has it, Louisville, minus 13. That breaks my heart. I was raised on the Metro Conference. I don't remember Louisville minus 13 too often. And I say that with an incredible amount of respect for LeBradford Smith and Purvis Ellison, but Louisville minus 13, that hurts my heart.
Is that why you have this game, by the way? Because you were
raised.
Honestly, is that why this game is in the Final Four and 1? Because you were raised on the Metro?
I was raised on the Metro. I can't
figure that was why you picked this game.
I was raised on Never Nervous Purvis, which is an amazing nickname, by the way.
Oh, I love it.
Never Nervous Purvis is an incredible nickname. Like, you're a Bears fan, so you probably spent like a lot of your life hating Aaron Rodgers, right?
Can't stand the guy.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about Purvis Ellison. As much as you hate Aaron Rodgers, that's how much I hate Purvis Ellison.
Honestly, those are not equal in the slightest.
You don't know what he did to me when I was young. I know I shouldn't say that out loud. That could go a lot of different ways. I've never met Purvis Ellison. I want to be clear about that.
Thank you for correcting the record.
I've never met Purvis Ellison. Before you guys try to take this somewhere it doesn't need to go, I've never met Purvis Ellison. But that man ruined my childhood. He was so good.
Yes, he was.
3-time first-team All-Metro. Let's start there. All right. Most outstanding player of the Final Four for a national championship team in 1986. Consensus first-team All-American in 1989. Number 1 overall pick, 1989 NBA draft. We'll stop there. That's about that. We'll just stop there. But like up until that point, he was ruining my life. Amazing career.
Wonder if he's going to be in the building on Saturday.
I hope not.
He may well. I mean, it's possible. I don't know where Purvis calls home these days, but if he's in the greater Louisville area, why would you not?
I hope it's hell. I hope it's hell.
If I was dominating the Metro and I was within driving distance and an old league foe was coming back into town, you bet your ass I'd be showing my face in that building. I want to see Purvis Ellison in the building on Saturday.
The last thing I want to see on a Saturday is a Purvis Ellison. I'm scarred. Imagine if you were scarred as a 9-year-old, and then all these years later, you're just like, all right, cool. I'll turn on the TV. First thing you see is Purvis Ellison. I don't need to see that. I never want to see that man again.
Parrish, I'm going to take Memphis plus 13. You said it was 13, right?
Unfortunately, I mean, this is not the Metro rivalry I grew up on. All right? But here we are.
First of all, I doubt they do it. But this is one of those, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this has already been publicized. I just haven't seen it. If you work at both of these schools and you're in the athletic department, you're in marketing, and you know the game is happening, you need to be wearing your throwbacks. Like, it needs to say Memphis State on the uniform, because when they were in the Metro, it was Memphis. That's another thing. It's never been Memphis State for me. I know it is for you, but it was always like when they changed that, when I started to have an acknowledgement of college hoops and all that stuff, it was right when they were getting ready to change it. So I've never thought about Memphis as Memphis State, but I know that they were at one point. They should be wearing Memphis State when they show up to play this game. They probably won't. That's a huge swing and a miss. I'd love to be wrong. It would be incredible if they did that, JP.
I do not know. I mean, I can send a text and probably find out, but you might not be wrong. They do wear Memphis State jerseys sometimes, and it would be a big miss if they didn't wear them.
Correct.
At the Yum Center tomorrow. I wish they played at Freedom Hall.
That'd be even better.
It would be even better. Take it to Freedom Hall. Throw Purvis Ellison out there. It'd be nightmares for my child. There is nothing that scared me more as a child. And I know people have like Freddy Krueger, Jason, No. For me, it was Purvis Ellison and Freedom Hall. I don't care about Elm Street. It was Freedom Hall for me. Purvis Ellison, Freedom Hall, nightmare stuff. I won't be surprised if they wear the Memphis State jerseys. They should. Seriously, here locally, we've been talking about this all week.
Okay.
Andre Turner, who was the point guard for the 85 Memphis Final Four team, he's now on Penny's staff. And so he did part of the weekly radio show. And I didn't remember it this way, but he was like, I played Louisville 11 times. He was in school for 4 years, and Memphis State and Louisville played 11 times in those 4 years. I mean, so it was as I mentioned earlier in the week, like Lakers Celtics was a thing in the 80s, but in this here, it was Memphis State Louisville. And like to this day, there are people who live here who call Memphis State still. Like yeah. And so this will be a fun. I don't know if it'll be a fun game, but it's a fun thing to think about. Having this rivalry renewed, it means something to Penny, even though Penny never actually played against Louisville. That was where the rivalry went away. He never played against them, but he, like me, was raised on this stuff. And I appreciate Pat recognizing what it is. And so it'll be a fun game. I'll take Memphis plus the 13 because how could I not?
Well, you and I, in that case, we can get to game 3 in a second, but you and I agree. I will also take out of pity. More than anything else, this is a very rare Final 4-1 game between two high major teams. I'm still going to call Memphis a high major team because it deserves that, but it's rare that you have a 2 high major team Final 4-1 game where the spread is double digits nonetheless. So he really had to get some stuff off his chest. We allow it. We both got Memphis to cover the 13. What do you got for game 3?
I know Ryan Conwell is going to make 9 threes. Okay. I'm very aware of how this is going to unfold. But I'm going to sit down with my boys tomorrow, and we're gonna appreciate Memphis State and Louisville on a basketball court. Game 3 Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It's number 1 Arizona versus number 12 Alabama inside Gucci Mane Arena.
Okay,
you can watch it on ESPN. KenPom has it Arizona -1 inside Gucci Mane.
Have you done Gucci Mane already this season? I feel like you have.
Well, Birmingham's interesting because you can go Courtney Cox. You can go Gucci Mane. I went with the East Atlanta Santa. I
love that. East Atlanta Santa. You obviously have Arizona.
I promise you, go find this video. You'll laugh at this video. Okay. There's a video of Wayne, and he's just like an interview, I guess. And there's some like top 5 rappers of all time or top 5 something of something. And they're giving the list to Wayne. And they're like trying to get him to guess, like, who do you think's on it? And he's like, Jay. And they're like, yeah, Jay's number 1. He's like, yeah, that makes sense. And they're like, who else you think's on it? And he's like, M. And they're like, M's not on it. And he's like, what? M's not on the list? They're like, no, M's not on the list. He's like, okay. And then they're like, Drake. And he's like, yeah, Drake, that makes sense, I guess. This is pre-battle. All right. So he's like, yeah, I guess Drake, that makes sense. He's like,
pre-battle, that's indefensible. Keep going.
He's like, I agree with you. I don't respect the master manipulator and a habitual liar too. But Wayne did at the time. They're buddies. So Wayne's like, yeah, Drake, that makes sense. And he's like, who else is on the list? Like, I don't know. You tell me. And they're like, Gucci. And he's like, Gucci? Gucci Mane? And they're like, yeah, Gucci Mane. He's like, he wants to say, you can see, like, what? And he's like, shout out Gucci. He just like respects it. But it's outrageous to him that he hears that as a top 5. Anyway, we're playing this game inside Gucci Mane Arena. That's what I'm trying to say.
And you've got Arizona losing so that you can justify Michigan being number 1. Do I have that right?
You know what? I really do think that way. And I love Tommy Lloyd, but it would be helpful for my Twitter minions if Arizona took its first loss this weekend. I'm not rooting for that. I want to be clear. But would it be helpful for my mentions if Arizona lost a game? It would be helpful for my mentions. Because some people did point out that after Michigan just pounded somebody, I was like, listen, man, what do you want me to do? They're beating everybody's brains in. What do you want me to do? And then people were like, you realize Arizona's last game, they beat Auburn by 50,000 points. And I was like, that's a fair counterpoint. I'd say 99% of the replies I get to the top 25 and 1 are nonsensical. But if you're listening, whoever that was, fair point. You make a fair point.
Josh posted a poll earlier in the show asking our live audience, do you believe that at least four teams have a chance to win the Big 12 this season? 55% of the audience said yes. I actually think that's low. I figured more people would give at least four teams a chance. Arizona, of course, in that group. As for this game, Taylor Bowen will play. He's had back issues, but he's expected to be on the floor. Aiden Holloway has had the wrist situation. So it is to be determined whether or not he's going to be able to go. And his availability could very well be the difference in Bama winning the game or not. Or even if he's on the floor, his effectiveness could be the difference in whether or not they can give it a go. Because keep in mind, Jaden Bradley, an elite defender, if Holloway is going to play, but he isn't at 100%, that can really work against Alabama. It does benefit Bama that it's getting the game in its home state. Not its home venue, but its home state. So we'll see what it can do there. The disparate numbers in three-point attempts and three-point makes is obviously a very, very big storyline going into this game. Arizona averages 16.0 threes attempted per game. That's 362 in the country. There are 365 teams, and they make just six. They attempt exactly 16.0. They make on average exactly 6.0 threes. That's 325th in the nation. Alabama, 36.1 attempted threes per game, so more than 20 hoists from beyond the arc, beyond Arizona, and then they only make, relative to that, 12.6. So Arizona is actually the better three-point shooting team percentage-wise.
They just don't take them.
They make 37.5 of their three-point attempts. Bama makes 34.8. It's not a big margin, but Arizona doesn't take nearly as many, but they make a higher percentage. Between the two of them, they average 52.1 three-point attempts. Real quick, over under 52 three-pointers attempted in this game, GP.
Yeah, Alabama's going to take that many by themselves.
Okay, you're saying 52. I'm also going to say over because Nato just does not want his team taking mid-range shots. Arizona has serious size. You figure the more, if you're getting involved with those bigs in the mid-range, I don't know. It's a very, very interesting X and O battle. This is an awesome game. Love that these coaches have arranged for it to happen. Arizona going for 3-0 against the SEC, of course, beat Florida, just destroyed Auburn, and now they're going up against Alabama here. Again, not knowing the Holloway stuff is what makes me pump fake on this, because if he was healthy, I think I'd pick a Bama without abandon. I'll go Arizona. GP, last night when I was looking at our games, I wrote in Bama probably as the pick here, but not knowing Holloway's situation makes me lean to the Wildcats, and in doing so gives me some entertainment, because if that happens and Arizona beats another good team away from home to remain undefeated and be stride for stride with the likes of Duke and Michigan and Iowa State for not just best team status, but best resume status, it's just going to put you in a bind. So I look forward to you having to try to defend that on our Sunday pod.
I don't want to be in that position. I don't want to find myself in that position. I don't root against anybody, but I do root for me and the top 25 and 1. You say all the time, this is one of your go-tos, but I do appreciate that in college basketball, you have two teams like this. Either one of these teams could win the national championship, and they play in entirely different ways. You couldn't do that in the NBA, at least not now. Maybe we'll get back to it someday. But if you tried to play basketball in the NBA the way Arizona plays basketball, you would have a general manager and a nerd walk into your office and tell you can't do that anymore. And yet that doesn't apply. We've seen national champions in college basketball that play fast. We've seen Virginia, all things in between. So this will be fun just because of the contrast and approaches to the game. I'll just stay with the bit. I'll take Alabama inside Gucci Mane Arena. I'll ride with the East Atlanta Santa, but obviously Arizona has been awesome all season. It would not be surprising if they went down to Alabama and won the state championship, knock out Auburn one weekend, knock out Alabama the next. Game 4, Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. It's number 25 UCLA. I know.
I'm going to be in studio Saturday, late afternoon into the evening. So as an aside, as we set up this game here, do dial into CBS Sports HQ. Really proud of the studio stuff we do. I'll be with my guy Hakeem Dermish. Looking forward to it. But I do know this: they are not keeping me at the studio until 2 a.m. to recap UCLA and Gonzaga. It's not going to happen. I think I'm supposed to head home around 1 a.m., maybe 12:30 at night. They will not keep me until this isn't March. We're not staying that late. An 11:30 tip is outrageous. I know Cronin was asked about this on Thursday with his media availability, and he actually, I wanted him to go even farther. He just basically shrugged it off. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is outrageous. My dad needs to take 2 naps. He's 84 to even watch this game. And so, yes, we have an 11:30 Eastern tip between 2 of the most interesting, notable, proudest programs on the West Coast with Gonzaga and UCLA late Saturday night. Mick
said my dad hates this. All right. What I love more than anything is that Mick hates this, and he's on that coast. He's over there. It's only 8:30 for him.
Correct. I love that Cronin will find a way to bitch about the schedule and the games. It doesn't matter. There is going to be, you cannot stop this man from just being at his utter crankiest. And I know we've got more levels to hit this season. Part of me wants to go total conspiracy theory and think that that ESPN did this on purpose just to get a reaction out of Mick Cronin. You can't tell me they couldn't have played this game at even 10 Eastern, 7 local, but they said, no, we're going to dial this up a notch. 8:30 local, 11:30 Eastern. Let's get Mick going.
He ain't even I'm going to be up till 2 a.m. trying to rank his stupid basketball team. I love that he's mad. And most of the country is like, we're way ahead of you. We're going to be sleepier way before you get there. All right. But it's perfect. I love that he wouldn't leave California in his non-league schedule.
I love it. California didn't leave LA. Crazy.
Wouldn't leave LA for non-league, but now is complaining about the tip times. Used to complain about the locations. Remember, he was mad about seeing the Statue of Liberty.
Correct. Well, he actually let me down here with this, because let me bring this up real quick, because I really want it. So yeah, this game is at Climate Pledge Arena, and they already had to play at Washington in a league play earlier this month. Maybe he can, Mick, someone close to Cronin, please get this back to him, especially if they lose Saturday night. I am dying for. We've seen the Space Needle twice in the past 2 weeks. I want the Space Needle smack from Cronin. I'm not kidding. I need it. So while I truly don't care who wins or loses the game, I will say this: a UCLA loss could produce another just absurdly hilarious and uncalled for rant from Cronin that has tied to travel. And I need the Space Needle to take one on Saturday night, please. Or technically, I guess, early Sunday morning.
Think about this in all seriousness. Name a human who has been more frustrated by seeing the Statue of Liberty than Mick Cronin. It's like a symbol of all of the great things we're supposed to be. I know we've lost our way in some ways. I get it.
Yes.
I get it. But it's a symbol of all of the great things we're supposed to be. And Mick was like, get Lady Liberty out of my face.
Correct.
I love it. Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. I kind of appreciate this. I don't want to stay up, till 2 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday night. But on a Saturday night, I'm always, I don't know if Saturday Night Live is going to be a rerun or not. I'm looking for things to do. UCLA Gonzaga. It's inside Chris Cornell Arena.
I'll take it.
You can watch it on ESPN. Kim Palm's got it Gonzaga -10.
You could have given our guy, Jeff Ament, who has appeared on this pod, some love. Stone Gossard, for sure, would have taken that. Elaine Staley has gotten some love previously on this as well.
I have Pearl Jam Radio as a favorite on my Sirius XM. Every once in a while, I'll push it. And you know what I hear more than any other song? Tell me if this makes sense to you. Here's the song I hear more than any other song on Pearl Jam Radio.
I'm going to say, let me try and see if I can guess it.
Yeah, guess it.
I don't have PJ Radio in my presets. I do dial in every now and then, but it's not my presets. And I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, as everyone knows. I'm going to say PJ Radio, the most common one on PJ. I'll say Rockin' in the Free World. They play that a ton, but that's
okay.
It feels like you're leading me toward a non-Pearl Jam song being the answer.
No. This isn't scientific. Like somebody from SiriusXM could just be like, "No, you've got it all wrong. We have all of this. We know the numbers, and you're wrong." But what I hear every time, there's two. Yellow Ledbetter, that would not surprise you. That's you hear that all the time. But Rearview Mirror,
top 5 Pearl Jam songs. So.
I love that song too. But I hear it all. It is the song I hear most often from Pearl Jam in the year 2025 because SiriusXM throws it at me nonstop. It's a great song.
Stuff. Rearview Mirror. Very fun to play on guitar as well. Okay, let's pick this game.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gonzaga have played each other in each of the past 5 seasons.
Sometimes I forget we're talking about basketball.
I know, that's fine. 2 of those games have come in the tournament, by the way. UCLA won this matchup a season ago, 65-62 in Inglewood. Prior to that, Gonzaga beat UCLA in Honolulu when the Maui tournament was out there when they were displaced by the fires. These teams have met 10 total times. It feels like more than that, but so many of these games have been really, really good games. You truly do love to see it. UCLA and Gonzaga, a yearly thing. It just feels like it should be a thing, just like UCLA, Arizona, now that they're idiotically no longer in the same conference. Tyler Bilodeau has been pretty solid this year. I think he's still got another stage or two that he can rise to. 13.5 per game alongside Eric Daly, 11.5 per game. Sky Clark, 8.5 per game. Those are the big returnees. But Donovan Dent's the guy to watch for. He has been fine, but he has been banged up, to be fair. He has not been what we told you he would be if you listen to our preseason podcasts. 12.0 points, 6.4 assists so far this season. I know he's getting healthier, but in a game like this is where you got to show up and really, live up to the hype, live up to the building. So I'm interested to see if he can do that in this spot. Gonzaga has been with truly the exception to the rule that was that Michigan result, has just been on a tear. It's third at KenPom. It's 9-1. It's taken out Oklahoma, Creighton, Arizona State, Alabama, Maryland, and Kentucky from the Power 5 ranks already. This is its penultimate non-conference high major game. It still has Oregon a few days before Christmas. I'm gonna pull a Costanza here. My instinct was to take UCLA because it's a 10-point spread on KenPom GP. But I will say with that 1-2 interior of EK and Huff, and not a lot of teams, Michigan coincidentally enough and appropriately enough being one of them, not a lot of teams have 2 guys who can work the interior like that and really produce and give you on a given night. EK and Huff could combine for 34 and 19 between both of them. We'll see if they can do that against UCLA or not, but I will take Gonzaga to win this game and to actually get it done by double digits and in the process potentially give us another memorable Cronin post-game clip.
I wasn't going to mention this, but you said Tyler Bilodeau and then it popped into my head. Have you seen him going viral over the past week or so?
I actually, when you say that's, I haven't, and I have I don't know if what you're referencing is about to be serious and not funny or very funny, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Just do it on your own time.
Okay.
All right. Do it on your own time. But he's been out there in the Twitter streets.
Okay.
He's gone viral. It's interesting.
Okay.
I'm taking UCLA plus the 10 inside Chris Cornell Arena. I know Gonzaga's awesome, but Tyler Bilodeau's gone viral.
Is that reason why you're going to take UCLA? Are these directly connected?
Directly connected.
Okay.
Yeah, directly connected. Game 5, what is it?
No, it's not game 5. It's and 1. It's the Final 4 and 1 presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more. You're and 1.
Presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. If you're going to do it right.
There you go. Saturday, 5:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's number 19 Kansas at NC State on Tom Gugliotta Court. Put some respect on Tommy G's name. Gugliotta. You heard of Gucci Mane? Gugliotta Mane came first.
East Atlanta Santa.
Gugliotta was the there's nothing that rhymes with East Raleigh that's Christmas related. So there's nothing. KenPom has
East Raleigh Jolly.
Sure, why not?
East Raleigh Jolly, East Atlanta Santa.
KenPom has State
to do everything
-1 on its own floor. This is Kansas's second non-conference road game. Bill Self very much talks the talk and walks the walk when it comes to this. Not a lot of schools, I'm not saying no schools, but not a lot of schools will play multiple non-conference road games against high major teams. Kansas did it against North Carolina to start the season, and then it is now doing it in the Triangle again and returning with NC State. Josh is submitting East Raleigh Rudolph, which I do like more. Tom Gugliotta, the East Raleigh Rudolph.
Has he ever been called that before, you think?
He's the heir. No, he is not. I promise you this is the first time that has ever happened. Tom Gugliotta, East Raleigh Rudolph, State -1. Who you got?
I mean, we got Elvis Presley graduating from UMass Lowell. I think we can do anything at this point, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm taking Darren Peterson. You kidding me? We've gotten to a point where when I do radio interviews, people are like, in the preseason, it was all Darren Peterson, and now it's all Cameron Boozer or AJ DeBonta. That has flipped. There's a little bit of out of sight, out of mind with him because of the hamstring issue. I think we're done with all the conspiracies. Bill Self hopes so. Did you see Bill? He was admonishing the media. He was like, you guys think I'm full of shit. I'm telling you the truth. He's just got a hamstring injury. What do you want me to do? So hopefully that's all behind us. And also hopefully, like, this freshman class has been amazing. Caleb Wilson, Koa Pete, AJ DeBonta, Cameron Boozer, all of the Europeans. And the guy who was supposed to be the best of all of them, hasn't played that much. So I'll take Kansas. Big game from Darren Peterson.
Kansas coming off that 80-60 win over Mizzou. Peterson played, 23 minutes in that. NC State coming off an 85-45 win against Liberty. These are a pair of 7-3 teams. Interesting setup for both of them. I feel like the loser of this one is going to be down on their non-conference showing relative to what the preseason expectations were, whereas the winner probably going to be feeling relatively chipper, all things considered, having achieved a win on Saturday against a pretty good team here. So this feels like a medium leverage game overall. Kansas, keep an eye on its defensive interior. Averages 6.5 blocks per game. That's actually best in the Big 12 and top 10 in the country. And it's defended the perimeter very well. It's only allowing opponents to hit 25% of their 3-pointers so far this season from beyond the arc. If you're curious on NC State, it's a pretty good 3-point shooting team. 40% flat. That's top 15 in the country. So we wait and see on NC State's prowess from beyond the arc, and if that is actually a significant factor in this game. That's the reason why NC State's so good is Kadir Copeland, 55.5% from 3 so far this season. Trey Holloman, 51.4%. Darian Williams, 46.7%. They've done a really, really good job. I will take State at home to get this done. Darian Williams, if you were following portal stuff in the offseason and everything tied to Kansas, that just is another layer in this game because there was a belief that he might eventually be in Lawrence this season. Nope, he goes to NC State, and so this is a big spot for him. He's been a good player. He was the preseason ACC Player of the Year. We'll see if he can come up with a big spot there. You'll take the Jayhawks. I'll take the Wolfpack. I like this. We've got a number of games where we disagree.
Real quick on NC State. I know expectations were high in year one with Will, and they're still fine. It's still top 30 in the computers, but they are one of those teams that strong computer or okay computer numbers, like NCAA tournament resume computer numbers, but they still don't have the wins. 0 top 40 wins. Right now, they beat VCU, but VCU's kind of been a little all over the place. So this is an I think Kansas is going to be there at the end as long as Darren Peterson's there at the end. But still sort of in a wait and see mode with NC State, and eventually they'll record a big win. They got an opportunity to get their first one this weekend.
Music references all over the place there. You realize you just dropped a Radiohead reference without knowing you did it?
What did I say?
All right, keep it going. Listen back. I'm not going to say it. Hit that.
Did I call myself a creep?
Nope, you did not. But you know what? That's just kind of the unspoken Radiohead reference on every show. So here we go. Others to watch on this weekend here. Friday, the one game to know is Texas at UConn. We'll see if the Longhorns can keep it close. Not expecting it with the way that UConn has looked and Terrace Reed getting healthier by the day. But that's the one game to know on Friday. That's an 8 Eastern tip on Fox between the Longhorns and the Huskies. On Saturday, 1 Eastern Fox, Undefeated Oklahoma State against Oklahoma and OKC. Nice to see these two programs playing since they no longer share a conference, of course. Cowboys fans, if your team does get this win to remain undefeated, promise you will get some chatter on Sunday night show because you'll definitely have earned it at this point there. 2 Eastern, ESPNU, 6-3 Cincinnati against 8-1 Georgia in Atlanta. Cincinnati, if it were to lose this, man, oh man, just hot seat for Wes Miller. Meanwhile, Georgia, one of the most under-discussed one-loss high-major teams in the country. You beat Cincinnati, you might have something cooking there. 2 Eastern, Peacock Saturday. Marquette is at Purdue. Now, Purdue was in a 3-point game at the half at home against Minnesota, and then I tweeted this out. So I was watching with my kids. Wife was out with her gal pals. I put them to bed. We go upstairs to go to bed at the half. I put them down. I come back down, and Purdue is up 25 points. I was like, damn, Nico might have been really right to have something. And what the hell is up with Purdue? All right, guys, let's go to bed, read a couple of books. I come back down. The game was over. To quote Leonard Hamilton, the game was over. So that was just wild. I bring up this game because if Marquette loses this game, it will have taken its 6th loss as of December 13th. Marquette did not lose its 6th game in the past 3 seasons until mid-February. If it loses this game, which it probably will, it will be under 500 in non-conference play in totality. This is the last non-conference game, GP, for the first time since 2000-2001. And if it loses this game, it will have started a season with at least 6 losses in its first 11 games for the first time since 1990-91. Really going the wrong way for Marquette. So that is what is on the line with a very difficult road game against Purdue on Saturday, 2 Eastern, Peacock. A few more games for you. 3 Eastern, Fox, 6-4 K-State at 5-4 Creighton. It just feels like the earliest at-large elimination game of the entire season. 4 Eastern, Peacock, undefeated Nebraska at Illinois. Dial that in. And by the way, if folks are unfamiliar, NBC Sports Network is also back if you have YouTube TV. So when I say these Peacock games, I believe all of these games are also viewable on YouTube TV with NBC Sports Network. Keep an eye on that. Saturday, 7 Eastern, TNT. Just a couple of surprise teams. 8-2 Santa Clara versus 8-2 Arizona State on the outskirts of Vegas near Foothill. 7:30 Eastern. Yes, if you were thinking this game was Final 4-1, sorry. Both teams haven't been good enough. We've talked about them plenty. Indiana against Kentucky on ESPN. Obviously, we're going to talk about this game on Sunday's show, see if Kentucky can get itself straight. I actually thought GP would put this game in the Final 4-1, but he was raised on the Metro. What do you want from him? That's obviously a very, very big game for both of those programs. Much bigger for Kentucky, which is in a near must-win situation. If it does not win this game, I don't know what more we can say other than giving context to the result if it loses in that game. But you do not want to lose to Kentucky at home if you're Mark Pope after the start you've had this season, considering that these two programs and fan bases have craved this game on an annual basis. It went away for much of John Calipari's time there. Now it comes back, and you find yourself in a tight spot here. Then 2 more. Michigan, undefeated, plays at Maryland on Fox at 8 Eastern. You wouldn't think Michigan would get tripped up. However, it's on the road. It's in a league game. Maryland's going to pack the place. And then 8:30 Eastern, SEC Network on Saturday. 9-1 SMU against 8-1 LSU in New Orleans. Winner of that one's going to be looking pretty nice from an at-large perspective after entering the season with a lot of uncertainty in both of those teams. So that is your Friday, Saturday look ahead. Sunday's actually relatively thin, and I would expect we can go live 4:35, 5:30, somewhere. Just, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll know when we go live. Bears play at 1 against the Browns, and once that game's wrapped up, GP, I'm good to go whenever you are on Sunday.
When I say Kentucky, Indiana, what pops into your head immediately?
Christian Watford.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, it's the most notable recent thing to happen. Kentucky and Indiana fans are going to remember some other things. They also played in the tournament during the Crean era. There's a few things, but it's the Watford shot. That was in Assembly Hall. This one will be on Kentucky's home court.
I remember where I was watching that on TV. I have a
I was
vivid.
at the Garden covering something else and watching it in the press room at the Garden when it happened.
I was.
It was the same day. Sorry, it was the same day as the Zip 'em Up Xavier Cincinnati. It was a wild day.
A wild day. I remember it. I had people at my house trying to put together a desk because I'm not equipped.
Why would you do that?
I can't do that. So
you come to my house and put together a desk, please. It's a desk. What are you talking about?
It's one of the advantages of living in Mississippi. There are disadvantages, sure, but one of the advantages, cost of living, amazing, and if you need somebody to put together a desk, they probably live next door to you. You know, everybody down here can do things with their hands except for me. I'm struggling. But I had people over building a desk at my house, and then I remember getting a phone call, and it was like, hey, can you write a column on this? And Christian Watford is forever etched in my memory. What a shot that was, huh?
It was correct.
No,
I think you got another show, so that's a show.
Oh, man, I'm about to reminisce about the Metro Conference for 2 straight hours. No, I'm about to cry about Zach Edey for 2 hours.
Yeah, I did see that. That's a downer. Yeah.
Bro,
sorry.
Nothing ever goes our way. It's incredible. Between Grizzlies injuries and Purvis Ellison, I feel like I'm doomed. Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Terry Teagle's a legend. Huck Larnell. Thank you guys once again for watching, listening to Eye on College Basketball Podcast. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe anywhere you subscribe to pods, like Apple, Spotify. There's more of us than there are of them. That should be reflected in the comments. So do that. We'll talk to you again on Sunday. Till then, take care.